right. Welcome into All Things Odd. I'm Dr. Natalie Phillips.
I'm Dr. Hannah Galloway.
And I'm Rebecca Crowder.
All right. So we are going to start off just by looking at our YouTube channel. I'm just going to put it up here real quickly and have Dr. Galloway talk about it.
Yes, so we have our YouTube channel here. You can see we've got some subscribers. You can subscribe. That way you can get a notification when we have a new episode. This is probably also the easiest platform to send to somebody that doesn't have, Facebook, Instagram, things like that. You can just directly send them a link from YouTube. And we have some fun thumbnail images so you can tell what each show is about. Dr. Phillips has gotten creative on some of them. And so that might be the best part about is the thumbnail.
It's only graphics. We used to have to make such silly pictures of us. So I like that we can just kind of be creative with the graphics a little bit and see how that goes. But we get some comments. I have to kind of go back through here and notifications. And so, we have people kind of watching it and tuning in and sharing it. So thank you guys.
And we had a patient yesterday and I introduced Rebecca and he's like, oh, I already know her because I watched your show and I saw you guys introduce her. So he's one of our digital groupies. And
digital groupies. I like it.
He had already been introduced to Rebecca via this platform. So that's
good job. All right. So I'm actually, for today's show, we are going to throw it over to Rebecca and have her take over a little bit because she is going to introduce us to what we're going to be talking about.
Yeah, thank you. So as you can imagine, why I think most of us enter this profession, and as I'm still kind of going through it, I think the biggest thing is that we love to help people. But as we know, there's often barriers to, being able to do that sometimes. And so I was kind of looking at some statistics and I found that over 1.46 million Coloradans are on public health care. Okay. And for those adults, Medicaid doesn't cover the hearing aids. And only about 30% of seniors who could benefit from hearing aid technology, they're just only about 30% are using them. Of that amount of people, excuse me on my stats there. But that just kind of drove me to the question of, we know there's a need for amplification and hearing aid devices, but what can we do as providers, or how can we address patients who come in and they qualify for hearing aids because they have a hearing loss, but aren't in a position or have a financial barrier to getting access to these devices. It could be someone who's maybe not working or just starting to work, or possibly someone who's either on Medicaid, like I mentioned, or Medicare. So that was really kind of my question. How do we help these individuals who kind of fit under this category?
Yeah, I think it's a great question too, because there's so many people that come in and they don't have insurance benefits for hearing aids, or they fit into a weird category where we get this all the time, even like, say, for example, Medicare, right? They're like, well, why doesn't Medicare pay for hearing aids or glasses or whatever it is, and it's kind of disheartening because we go into the profession, just like how you introduced this show here, we go into this profession to help people and to really try to give them solutions to get back to their lives. And so it's heartbreaking sometimes when we're like, well, I know Dr. Galloway and I have come up with different ideas of how we can help people, like anything that we can do to try to get them into hearing aids, because we know how much it's going to help them as well. So you get all these different categories of people that need this help. And so to come up with something creative is kind of leading up into what we're going to talk about today.
Yep. So we that question was kind of just at the root of like what we were doing with Audiology Center Cares, because we do see these people that come, they just fall through the cracks, and so it's like they're a really excellent candidate. They're very motivated, but then we just don't have the financial resources, to get them hearing aids. So we started our own nonprofit just to be able to try to fill that need. And today we're going to kind of talk more about it, but that we actually have a live website now, so people can get on the website and see what we've got there. And we've had questions, from people of, what is this organization? We haven't had anything that you could access yet. So we do have a website now that you can get on. And that's going to be kind of where we start for these patients that we need to fill the need. So if you see on our site here, if you scroll down, there is just some information about our nonprofit. We are a 501c3. So for hearing aid manufacturers or even just patients, if someone wants to donate hearing aids, donate money, there is a way for that to be a tax, get a tax letter for that. So that's really important for a lot of patients and businesses because there's sort of incentive, for them to be able to give to a good cause and then also, benefit in turn with less tax liability. So you'll see we've got this. How does it work? The way, and this is brand new to our office, I'll say that, we've really only been having this 501c3 since December. And so we're still kind of figuring out the flow, but now that we have a website, we've got, more of a flow. And so we're going to have people apply. You can apply on the website. And it will show you, it'll run you through the different fields, and then it sends that information to us. Kind of the goal here is for us to look at each patient and try to figure out, okay, do they have any benefits? If they don't, do we need to fund their whole cost of hearing aids, or, is there somewhere where we can get partial funding? Let's say a patient worked, I think it's like for the post office, there's like a federal benefit. So maybe they have a $2,500 hearing aid benefit, but then, nothing else to match that with. So the hope is that if we can all start in the central location, everybody applies, we can kind of see, do they have a demonstrated, financial need? Are they working to sort of help inform us on where we might be able to get resources for them? If we can get some hearing aids donated, that, checks one box. And then it's really more just our time to do, the fitting and if we need to take ear impressions or anything like that. But everyone is kind of in a different place. So like Dr. Phillips said, Medicare, you turn 65 and people think, well, this hearing loss is associated with aging. This is going to be covered. It's not. And more shocking to me was that Medicaid in the state of Colorado, adults it's not covered for adults. So even an adult with a developmental disability does not have a hearing aid benefit. And so that is sort of what fueled the fire for us to go, okay, how can we just make our own program? And, we have the luxury of, maybe somebody upgraded after a year and they donated their old devices to us. And so we've got some pretty new hearing aids that we want to match with a user. So this kind of gives our office more control because we can look at it and go, okay, this person might qualify for this. This person is not going to qualify for anything. How can we sort of match the need of this individual patient?
Yeah. And I put the website as a link, as a clickable link in the comments. So you can always click on that. But it allows you to kind of also look at how you donate, whether it is something that you want to do monetary, or if you have devices as well, like Dr. Galloway said, we can also take that. But there's some different options here. And then the application as well. You can kind of go to the application. And, like we said, it's a good starting place so that we can find out if it's something that we can help you with. And we have a board. So we want to introduce, I think it's down here, actually, the board members here. So we've got some board members, board of directors. And so just to introduce you to who we have as part of people who are going to be looking at these applications and helping us decide if whether or not we'll be able to use either our donated devices or something that we can help out monetarily as well.
Yeah, so that's really exciting. And, it used to be that you would write a check or whatever, and then we would mail you a letter. Now that there's these, digital platforms, it's just a lot easier. If you've ever done like a GoFundMe or something like that, it's similar. And then you get like an email from the organization. And so it's just a lot quicker for someone that wants to donate and get that tax letter. And sometimes we have patients that, after they've been fit, they're like, we want to pay this forward. How could we help someone else in this community? We even have one patient who identifies somebody in need and then volunteers to pay for that person's care with older devices. So, we've got some really awesome patients who are already that patient pretty much created this himself, that he was, wanting to pay it forward for someone else that he knew, with a set of hearing aids that he already had. So we've got a lot of people that want to help. And whether it's you've got a drawer full of hearing aids and maybe you got a cochlear implant and you're not using them anymore, or, you want to make a donation, we can do all of those things. And, if you come in or call us, email us, we're happy to, walk through kind of how we're doing the process or how many patients we've helped so far, because it's all brand new. So we're setting goals and just kind of seeing how many patients we can identify that are good candidates and meet all the qualifications.
Yeah. All right. Let me just put this back on here. Okay. What else do you have, Rebecca?
I mean, definitely cover the majority of it. So, and I guess one of the questions would be maybe a simple practical question. What is the best way if, let's say I have a loved one who's passed that has those devices? Is it more convenient to drop them off here if I wanted to donate them, or should I send them in? What's a practical way of doing that?
Yeah,
and what would it take too?
Really, because a lot of times patients don't know what's new, what's old. Just bring it to us and we can look and see. If it's a really old accessory and probably there's no hearing aids left that, would work with it, it might not be something that's going to be, given to another patient. But even if we don't give it out to another patient, there are ways of recycling stuff. And if a hearing aid is really, really old or not functioning or whatever, we can send it into, and they kind of like salvage whatever parts they can. So patients probably aren't going to know what kind of stuff we want versus don't want, but they can just bring it to us or mail it. We've had some other providers in some of our professional circles just send us boxes of old stock, demo hearing aids, stuff that was sitting around, chargers, things like that. And Rebecca has actually been helping us kind of go through it and go, okay, this is a set of hearing aids that could work with this charger that would be really good for somebody. And so we're making like little kits of, okay, this is ready for somebody. We just, need to identify that patient. The other thing is sometimes a patient has hearing loss and they have hearing aids that, maybe were their aunts or something. We can also refit those hearing aids on that patient. That's not necessarily through Audiology Center Cares, but that's something that a lot of times people don't know. Unless it's custom made for the patient, like a molded in-the-ear hearing aid, that's the only situation where it's a little more work to fit it on someone else. You can get it recased. But most of the popular hearing aids now that sit behind your ear, those can be resized, refit, to different hearing loss. Or so that's also come up more often is, can I donate these? Or better yet, like, could I use them? Could we reprogram them for me? So that's also something that we can help with, or, look at the aids and let you know, okay, these are 20 years old, so it's not going to work out. Or no, this is something that would be, a good set for you. So.
Yeah. So I guess if there's any questions regarding our new nonprofit, number one, if you feel like you want to help us out, we will take donations of devices. We have letters that we will give you for tax write-off purposes, monetary donations or devices. If you feel like you need help with the funding of devices as well, that's something that you would be able to go onto our website and fill out the application as well, so that we can have our board look through the applications. And, we have creative ways of helping you get into devices. And there are there's also a possibility of us doing maybe even a mission here in our own community. And so if you want to be a part of that, that's another way that you can reach out to us as well, because we're going to have, whether it's patients or a staff or just people in the community that want to be a part of something, we will have a local mission as well. I know that's something that Dr. Galloway and I had talked about. And so we might be fitting people who we are able to award devices with through our whole system and getting on our website and filling out that application. So there's a lot of information. It's pretty simple though. If you have any question, basically just reach out to us and we can help out. And so we just wanted to put that out there as well. Any last words?
Nope. I think this process is brand new. So I will say we might not know the answer right off the top of our head, but if so, we're going to figure it out. So, the first few patients that we put through this process, it might be a little bit more, just taking a little bit more time to figure out what we're doing. But it's going to be a really solid process moving forward to be able to match people with stuff that we already have. So have patience with us if we get like flooded with applications after this, which I don't think we're going to. But we just wanted to let our followers know that, the nonprofit site is up. You can go there, you can, send it to, if you have a family member that would be interested or something, you can go ahead and send that out. And then probably we need to get the patient in to do a hearing test and kind of get started on it. So, if you have any more questions or even, ideas, thoughts, let us know.
Awesome. All right. Well, with that, I believe we will be back next week. So tune in, and thank you guys for sharing with us and taking some time out to watch this. So we'll see you then.
Bye. Thank you.